a star that's even better though. Music start shine up my song, so what I have to say. Your glow stick is bright, I'm sure our sound reverberates. So come follow me, put your trust in me. It will not be easy, but there is nowhere else I'd rather be. I'm sure I am gonna shine. Meeting you here was a sign. This is how I live my life. Nothing to do but go live. Until I see you next time, I'll work hard and keep going far. Don't take your eyes off me. Let your heart match the allegro beat. BPM somewhere out of our range. I wanna hear you call out my name. We're starting small, but that's okay. Shining, shining, exciting our note. Shining, shining, shining new music. Music start, shine up, sing. I wanna hear the rhythm ring. I get to chase after that light. I wanna see you anytime. Be with you beyond the limits. I've barely even been here, but I really, really love it. I am gonna make you smile. I'm bringing your dreams to life. This is how I live my life. Nothing to do but go live. When I hold on to my mic, always be by my side. I am the melody. Shine up, woohoo! I am gonna make you smile. I'll bring your dreams to life. Let's go, musical note shine. Come on. You strike us out. Music in the venue, hear the sound of magic. This is the best place in the world, and I'm welcoming you. I'll make sure to remember. A ticket isn't enough. All I care about is now. My future in pretty rainbow spotlight colors. I'm gonna show it to you. I sing for the fun and do more for the dream, but I still wanna be your #1 song. I'll give it my all and I'll be your star. There's no giving up anymore. Music start, shine up, sing. I wanna hear the rhythm ring. I get to chase after that light. I wanna see you anytime. Story with you beyond the limit. I've barely even been here, but I really, really love it. I am gonna make you smile. I'll bring your dreams to life. Super Idols music time. If you turn up the spotlight, when I hold on to my mic, always be by my side. I am the melody. Push through anything and go, go, power dance to every show. I'm so lucky I get to live this way, to live my life on stage. I wanna hear you call my name, you all love what I do. We decide if we're happy or not, so if...
Hello, I'm Takumi Gumi. I'm a self-produced solo idol from Australia performing in Japan. And you are watching IDOLEYZ.
My name is Eggy Draco. I am the cream of the crop. I am the yolk on top. Former VTuber, current human being? God, she's so pretty. Oh my god. It was back in early 2024 when I went to an idol concert in Japan on a whim because of my VTuber Oshi who graduated. Needless to say, I got hooked. I think we like idols. After meeting and talking to 2 English-speaking idols there, I realized every single idol has a story, be it why they chased this dream, their ups and downs, and even their future after all this. And that's what I'm here to do. To learn more about idol culture, listen and talk to idols around the world, be it from Australia to Japan to here in the US, and to give them a platform to tell their story. Every idol has a dream and a story to tell. This is IDOLEYZ. Whoa. Is it loading? It is loading. Wow, we're here. I am the cream of the crop. I am the yolk on top. This is Mighty Eggy Drago with IDOLEYZ, episode 62, live from Casa del Hondo with our guest for tonight. An idol from the Vancouver scene. An idol that is representing MagiaNote. This is Melody. How are you?
And I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia.
Vancouver, British Columbia. For sure. How are you today?
I'm doing amazing. We had a really big project yesterday, and I've been exhausted all today, but I'm sure I was really ready for this.
Gotcha. Well, might as well get this started.
Yeah.
With with a question that we usually ask every single guest. The very first question is like, who or what got you into idol culture slash J-pop culture?
Um, when I was growing up in my school, like things considered alternative were very frowned upon. And so I had to kind of force myself to like things that felt really alternative in like mainstream North America music, especially in like pop culture. So I was in like seventh or eighth grade, and I was in like my earliest teenage years, and I start listening to J-pop and other types of alternative music, and I felt very free because it was so much more interesting than to me personally than the stuff I'd kind of tried to force myself to like. And I just led to develop this interest in it because it felt like a way of self-expression.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, being like listening to idol music really is very expressive. So
Mhm.
I would say pretty good start for that. Do you have like did you have like any like specific idol groups that you listened to?
First group, if you consider them idols, but really also the first J-pop artist I actually really got into was Perfume. And while they're not like my favorite group ever, I really enjoy their sound and I love their like electronic sounds, and they've inspired a lot of sounds that end up coming in my music and in MagiaNote's music. While not all of it is electric, I definitely, or EDM, I definitely do really admire and take a lot of inspiration from that style of music. So I'd say those were really the first group I got into.
Mm. Yeah, I mean like Perfume. When I was like first getting into like J-pop, I would say like what was the album? Enter the Sphere or Level 3. That was like
I love that
the
one.
yeah. That was like my start for like J-pop music and like I guess a little bit into like the idol scene, but yeah.
Yeah, my
um
favorite is still Electro World. I'm
ooh.
basic.
No, that's not basic. Um so after that, what really like inspired you to like really step up on the stage and perform to become an idol?
Well, the gap of time from like 2019 to 2024 when I became an idol myself is quite big. So I've always been very much into music. I've been doing music lessons since I was 5 years old and singing lessons since I was 6 years old. And I was also in a professional choir. So I had stage and vocal experience. But um, after that kind of like awkward and lonely period in like middle school, especially that I mentioned, I felt very discouraged, and I did not practice my skills for a while. And then it wasn't until around 2022 to 2023 that I started getting really into idol culture as a whole, and that kind of inspired me to find this new way of expressing my interest in music, and it led me to eventually becoming an independent idol.
Hmm. I'm like yeah, uh, kind of coming into that background. I mean like it is a good way to like step out of your comfort zone and be like out there, you know.
Yeah.
When you decided to become or like decided on that dream, did you have like specific goals in mind that you wanted to achieve?
Well, I always knew that I wanted music to be like a full time endeavor. I wanted it to be my like it was my dream. So I wanted it to like become my entire life. To at the point I'm at now, it really is doing that. But at the time off, that felt like a very far off dream. In the beginning, I was actually thinking of moving to Japan when I turned 18 so I could join like a Chica idol group. But the reason I decided not to in the end was because I wouldn't have any creative control.
Right. Like
Yeah.
I mean there's a couple of examples of idols that like moved from like Western countries into Japan and joined a group or formed a group. I think like
Yeah.
Heidi Haibara is a big example from
I follow
Working
her,
Woman.
yeah.
Yeah, she's cool.
She's great.
But yeah, like usually they don't have a lot of creative control. I mean, like there's one group that does, because like two of the members
Mm.
created the group, Crazy Fantasy. But yeah, usually most of the time it's you're signed to an agency and you have to do whatever the
Mm.
agency says, which is totally fine. But like
Yeah.
being independent and having like creative control, I would say is definitely the best thing to have.
If I think though, if I were to move to Japan to be like a chica idol, it would be because then I would have been able to be like produced. And to me, if I'm going to be an independent idol, then it makes more sense to stay here where I already had pre-existing connections and friends.
Yeah, like going to Japan, you're basically starting on a clean slate, and you have to like build
Mm.
those like relationships and connections. So yeah,
Yeah.
good to stick around in your native Vancouver, British Columbia.
Mhm.
You did say like you took like music classes or like vocal lessons, right? Correct.
Yeah. So when I was, well, we had mandatory like music classes for like over an hour a day, starting from kindergarten, and we would also have to perform like mandatory choir classes starting from kindergarten. And I think everybody tried to escape as much as they could. And I think I was one of the few people who absolutely loved like singing for like hours a week or even a day. And that's what kind of originally got me into a passion for music. In the next year, I actually started taking piano lessons. And I got quite up in Royal Conservatory, which is the standardized music education in Canada. Um, I'm currently studying up to level 10, but starting in my high school years, I decided I wanted to learn music composition. So my piano abilities kind of took a backseat so I could start learning music composition instead.
Right. So like the I would say like I mean I'm assuming like the music composition definitely helped. I mean with your first EP and like the creation of those songs, right?
Yeah.
Mm. And also like the vocal lessons and like everything else, for sure.
Yeah.
Because like most of the time there's some idols that like do vocal lessons as a kid or like do like dance, and then sometimes it doesn't like transition into their idol stuff. So it's very interesting, like the perspective of like that of people using that knowledge, and sometimes people just putting it away.
Yeah.
um when you were starting, I guess like starting this concept of being an idol, was there like a specific concept that you wanted to portray while performing?
Um, I really just love the I want to say kind of like standard or typical like cute and energetic energy that a lot of chica idol groups portray. So there wasn't a super unique image, but more of a message, which is like the power in the message of like expressing yourself through music and the power that music can have on someone's life as it had for me. That was more a message than an image, I would say that my concept was. And it's the same way for MagiaNote now.
I it's a very interesting, I guess, like connection that like some of the stuff that you built on as a soloist definitely would connect into MagiaNote, right?
A ton did.
um do you remember like your very first like idol performance that you like did?
In 2024, like before the official debut, I would do like anything I could to get stage experience as soon as I got some original songs out. And it was almost like open mic or karaoke. There weren't even a ton of structured events. And then my first like official debut wasn't until November of that year.
Right. Cause I remember there was like a mini documentary that you did, right?
Yeah.
Because like you got interviewed and you were talking about like the pre-debut stage of idol stuff, and then
Yeah.
you're like preparing for like an actual debut. So,
Mhm.
mm. So like
I
pre-debut,
wanted
you were just doing like open mic stuff and like stuff like that.
karaoke,
Mm.
even like outdoor performances, like anything I could to. It wasn't about popularity, it was about building skills for what I would consider an official debut.
Mm. Um, do you remember? I guess like the first official event that you did, that you performed at.
Yeah, it was another open mic type event, and I just did one of my originals, and I did one thing, and it was not like in the heart of downtown Vancouver, so there was little attendance, and it was definitely not my current target audience. But the point wasn't making fans; it was getting comfortability on stage.
Yeah, because like if you're not comfortable on stage, like, I think I remember you
Mhm.
said like you didn't have stage fright, right?
I don't really have stage fright. I said that when I did solo activities, and I wouldn't say I have stage fright, but I do get a little bit nervous before um, events. Not so much about the performance, but rather about the coordination of all of us together now. Because I live a little far from the action in like downtown Vancouver, where all my group mates live a bit closer to where our events usually are. And I was talking about this with Hazel from MagiaNote the other day. Like the person who lives the farthest away is often the first to come to the events because they're getting really ready, and like from the moment they wake up they're getting ready, and then the people who live close by often like forget to come at the right time because it doesn't seem like a problem to them. So I'm often the first one there, and then I get stressed when people don't arrive at the event like 1 millisecond after me, which I guess is my problem, but that's pretty much, yeah,
I mean, it's good to be
that's pretty
early.
much the extent of my stage fright.
I see. I guess segueing into that, might as well talk about your first original songs, your first EP,
Yeah.
which was Magic Introduction, and that was
Yeah.
June 2024.
In
So
2024.
about a year ago, year and some change.
Yeah.
When did you feel like it was the right time to, I guess, release original music?
I had been learning to write songs. I wrote a lot of drafts, which I've used to take inspiration from for current releases that I have. And I didn't know how to produce my songs. I never learned good music production. So what I did was I took a music production class in high school, and it was really useless,
What?
but it laid me down with at least a certain level of the most extreme beginner knowledge, which I used to produce some demo tapes. I found music producers via online communications, and these were people who had worked with like divisions of Sony Music before.
Right.
So they were quite experienced, and I saved up some money to pay for my first songs, which I used my demo tape that I wrote, and I sent a playlist of reference tracks, like what I had in mind kind of for this song, and then we got a final release ready version.
So it was two tracks on this, plus the instrumentals.
Yeah.
It was New Idol
Yeah.
Song and Pearl Lake.
Yeah.
What would you say? As like, you know, New Idol Song was the very first track on the EP. Is that like the
Yeah.
song that you really wanted like everyone to have a first impression of you on with?
Looking back, during solo activities, I never really released a song which I felt was a perfect, true expression of myself. And I've always been kind of trying to chase that. Both of those songs were extremely experimental, if I'm being honest, and that's why I don't think they're in my set list very much anymore. Um, because they were really just kind of me, yeah, experimenting and trying to find my own place. Both of them ended up sounding a little different than what I had in my head due to like communications and working with the producers with entirely different styles of production who weren't even very into J-pop. Not that I have problems with them. It's just, yeah, it just really kind of shows the experimental phase, which I'm not hesitant to show at all.
Right. I remember, like, looking through your discography, you did re-record both songs, correct?
Yeah.
So was it because of how you felt of the first versions that you wanted to re-record it?
Yeah, it was really improved, mixing and mastering, really.
Hmm. All right. So with, I might as well just ask, like, what was New Idol song? Like, what was it about?
It was really about the initial excitement of starting to write music and pursuing the dream, I would say. And then Prolic was about perseverance, although the original song that I had in mind is vastly different from what the song ended up sounding like. It sounds way more deep and suspenseful than what I had in mind.
Really? Um. So, oh yeah. So you did work with a producer for those
Yeah.
tracks. Um, was that the same producer for Shine Note, or like was that a different one?
I had, as I was mentioning earlier, for other songs, I was networking with people I met online who I felt were qualified enough to work with, and I had a great time working with them. But for Shine No and also Love Adventure, the release before that, which Love Adventure was the one I performed at the official debut performance. That was my first time working with a actual J-pop composer who I kind of wish I had worked with in the first place because I think he understands the genre much better. Um, Again, not that I have a problem with the original songs, but it is possible I may redo them with somebody who knows a little bit more about J-pop as a style of music. So the producer of Shine No and Love Adventure is Ryuzen, and he is, yes, a J-pop composer and producer who I believe actually has songs in Muse-Dash. So he has a very, as we were mentioning earlier, like EDM J-pop is kind of his style, which is a sound I really loved. So that was a great experience getting to connect over that.
Segueing into that, I might as well just talk about Shine Note. Did you have like any specific influences, like specific artists that you wanted to like pull from and tell your producer, hey, let's have like a track like this, XYZ, stuff like that?
No specific artist, as I recall. It was very much inspired by some really energetic styles of J-pop. Like, I'm having a bad time describing it, but music such as like Heroines, for example, or even at times Kawaii Lab. And then, of course, again, it was the producer's interpretation of my demo tapes and the references that we had. And yeah, it had a bit more of an electronic sound to it as well, though not as much as Love Adventure.
Gotcha. Ooh, might as well just say or like ask, um, in that time between Magic Introduction and then also Shine Out being like from this year, Magic Introduction from 2024, so a year gap
Yes.
or like year block. How would you say your experience creating music has improved since then?
I've improved networking and I've gotten better with like resources and finding people who are the best for the type of music I make.
Neat. Um, with your solo discography, I know there isn't a lot, but if you had to recommend one song for a Kaiga Idol fan to listen to, what would it be?
I would recommend Love Adventure because during our current set list, it's always the song that gets the loudest Rota calls.
Got it.
There's this part in the so you know what like photocopy means, like
Yeah.
when they're copying the idols dances, especially with hands. So there's this one part in the choreography that the wota are like following along with and like basically copying the choreo, and this is always my favorite part of the performances, or one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, 40 copies.
Like photocopy is fun. I mean, I
Very
do it
fun.
too during some idol performances.
Mm. Uh, I guess specifically with your solo music, do you have like any upcoming tracks, or do you just want to focus on MagiaNote?
I have completely rebranded myself to a member of MagiaNote, and all upcoming releases will be for MagiaNote because that's what I'm writing music for now.
Uh, so after those like open mic nights, um, when you had like you have your original music, what else did you perform? Like covers of, or what else was on your set list?
Those I actually didn't have any other songs covers because all the sets were very short, so I wanted to prioritize the originals.
Oh, I mean, I do love me some original stuff. So it's very good that you're putting your original stuff out there over like doing covers. So neat.
In MagiaNote, we still do that as well, but we'll probably discuss that more.
A little bit of like a going general from your solo stuff, but like how is the idol scene there in British Columbia? Like it's not an area that I've explored yet, because like who did I ask? I interviewed Crystal, who was part of a maid cafe in Toronto. Umemi Dreams, who was was in Vancouver,
I believe
but
Ontario was one.
Ontario, yeah. So like, how is it there? How's the idol scene there?
I've noticed that in the USA, all the performers across different cities and states are very interconnected with each other, and I think that's because of geographic location. And then it's harder for these idols from the USA to interact with ones in Canada due to the border. And in Canada, we really have two major kind of hotspots for idol culture, which is Vancouver and Toronto, which are very far apart. And then I know there's a growing scene in Alberta as well, but even then, it's an hour drive and an expensive plane ride. That's why, from I'd say compared to what I've seen with other idols internationally, even Vancouver's idol scene feels very closed off from outside idol culture sometimes. We don't have a lot of original groups. There are a lot of dance cover artists, which can make it a little bit difficult for groups such as MagiaNote to gain attention. Although I do have a lot of respect for all types of performers, I definitely do think that we should better recognize the time and place for original concept idols, especially in places like Vancouver where the idol culture is a bit more closed off. There is a big exception to that, of course, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Non-Sweet, and they are huge role models to us as well as other idols in Vancouver.
Yeah, I think like also in the US, there's definitely areas where cover art, like cosplay idols definitely dominate most of like the anime con scene or idol stages, and like it's mostly them compared to either people that do other covers or just original music. I know Tara was in the chat. Tara lives in Florida, and there are a lot of cosplay idol groups compared to original song idols, and it's fine, but it's better that like if there's more original stuff.
Mind them. I just think it would be really helpful for both of us to have better distinctions between idol groups and cosplay groups at times, especially in showcases, which I've noticed a couple conventions in Vancouver start to do, which I think is best for both of us.
Yeah, more power to that, because like if there's like one event for cosplay idols, that's fine, and then a separated one for, I guess, people trying to promote original idol music. That'd be great. So with with that in mind, is there like any room for improvement in that scene?
I can't force, like, obviously, I can't force cosplay and cover groups to release original music if they don't want to. And I'm glad that they're finding their way of expressing themselves too. I just think it'd be best if they could label themselves, I guess, as like cover idol groups, even, or like cosplay groups. So there's a more distinction, and as I was saying earlier, it's better for us both. And of course, we could still perform together at times and absolutely be good friends. A lot of my friends are in like dance cover groups, which I think as long as they're having fun, then that's great. But I guess just more opportunities and even whole events for original concept idols would be really cool.
Yeah, I'd say so. Um, with that in mind, how did MagiaNote form? How did that come to be?
Okay, so at the time, Mita was in music school and I was in like literally 2025. So I was still in high school. And she approached me at my meet and greet at TsukinoCon, which is a convention somewhere else in British Columbia. And she said she wanted to collaborate. So to explain the collaboration led to, oh, I kind of want it to be a group and not like a one-time song that we perform together. Like I want to be in an idol group. Um, and that's how it led to that. And I was really excited. But to go deeper into the meaning of our forming without exposing too much of Mita's life, um, Mita had been into VTubing activities and she was in a bit of a stressful point in her life where she was losing motivation after having pursued music for so long, like I had, but she'd been pursuing it much more intensively and she went to school for it. Whereas it was like my dream to go to a music school. I felt pressure from my family and my school and culture to study science and math because, as I've mentioned several times before, my best subject is math and science and not music. But Mita's best science is music, and she felt pressure to study music, and that's what made her interest wane. But then seeing a new idol who was so passionate about music and saw it as this beautiful thing that can connect us all reignited her passion. And in a way, we are pursuing the same goal, but our stories are a direct inverse of each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that you actually met, and I guess, as Tara said, this sounds like a plot to an idol anime. Truly.
So I thought about that before. Somebody said I have like main character idol anime energy.
Yeah, it definitely. I know, spin off the Love Live vibes. mm.
I see it.
So with that, you guys meeting up, what did you have in mind when you formed this group? Like, what did you want to do?
We wanted to go straight into the creation of original music, which led to me composing our first song, which release date currently TA, but we have performed it as a group now. We definitely knew we wanted to go beyond this local closed off scene of Vancouver's idol culture, and we wanted this to be a great project which would last for years and that would be loved by people from around the world. And we wanted to go international for sure, which is a lot easier said than done. But we still have the same dream, and now we have some fans overseas, which is a really exciting thing to think about. As I was mentioning with my solo activities earlier, our concept is less of an image and more of a message, the message specifically being the magic of music. Yeah.
So I'm assuming the MagiaNote is because of like a music note, right? Or
MagiaNote, I named the group. Actually, I'm really into creative writing, and in high school, we had to write a short story, and me with my like obsession with idols, I started writing about a fictional idol group I made up on the spot, and the name of the group was actually MagiaNote. Um, so since high school, I named the group while I was in high school, but um, I will want to name the group that, and it kind of means like, yeah, magical musical note is kind of the meaning of the name, because we think that music is a form of magic in itself.
As you did say, like you started to, I guess, not rebrand, but like promote yourself more as a member of MagiaNote compared to being a
Yeah.
soloist. How different is it coming from that solo background into going into like performing with a group? How different is performing solo versus performing in a group?
The first time I performed with Mita, I can only describe it as there was this powerful supernatural connection that was tying us together in a way. If anybody watching here knows group performances, then maybe you'll know the way I feel. But one problem that even in the current lineup I get criticized for by the other members is that I have a habit of trying to take on everything by myself, which I'm not solo anymore. I need to be giving myself a break a bit more, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, it is good to like have some tasks given to other people instead of like taking everything all at once. So
It's not that I'm trying to take tasks away from the other members, but we had two other members at a time. And Mita was, during summer break, she was incredibly busy. And the other members that we had weren't quite sure what they could take on and didn't have as much experience as me. So I felt that the only way to keep things going smoothly was if I did everything by myself and didn't inconvenience others by trying to ask them for help. But now we have a newer lineup, and we have Hazel, who is a new member, and she is also fantastic. I believe the lineup we have now will be our final one to stay for years and years. And yeah, she is really good at letting me know when to rest, and she has a lot of things that I'm not able to do either. So I believe that our current lineup is the one that's best for all of us, and it's easiest to split 3 ways.
Do you say like everyone came or like debuted around the same time, or is there like a gap in experience? Like who performed first?
Well, for the current lineup, Mita and I had our debut performance together, but before that, she wasn't doing in-person performances. She was a VTuber. And even in the past, in some events where she wasn't able to come, she filmed a segment with the Mita Noah VTuber model where she would sing a song, and it was really fun. So she definitely has, as I mentioned earlier, a ton of musical experience. She has amazing pitch, and like music theory knowledge, even better than mine. And Hazel, the new member, she has not performed on stage with us as of now, but we have done group rehearsals and activities together. And she was planning on being an idol when we first became friends, because me and Hazel had known each other before she auditioned. We had been good friends. And I know that she always wanted to be an idol, so it kind of came full circle. And I know she was also taking vocal lessons, so she could eventually become an idol.
It is good that like, I mean, as new members coming into a group, is definitely hard to like settle yourself in. But at least they can at least get help from you and also Mita as well. As a group, like where do you usually perform? I know like you guys did like an event at a boba shop, right?
Yes, we performed at a bubble tea. That was one of the most fun things we've done to date. Vancouver has a ton of smaller conventions. So we have our big event of the year, which is Anime Revolution. And then we have our own Fan Expo, which is Fan Expo Vancouver. So those are held in the convention center. They're by without a doubt the biggest ones. But then we have a series of smaller events throughout the year. So we perform at all sorts of these conventions, and we try to perform in the mainstream music industry as well, because that is to a lot of when we're going through like our resume and our history, it's often considered more credible if you have performances in like music festivals and cultural festivals that are funded and held by the city of Vancouver. So some examples of events we've done, we've had our own solo events as well, like one-man lives, as well as holding events in places. For example, earlier this month, we not only performed at Anime Revolution, we performed at the Dumpling Festival and the Canada Bubble Tea Festival, both of which are publicly funded. And we also had an event inside a bubble tea festival. So we had performances in a bubble tea festival, and then we had bubble tea drinks based on each member.
Do you like? I saw the post, but do you want to describe what your drink was?
Yes. So each of our was each of our drinks had like personal tie-ins, and not just as in there was some sort of pun in the name. So for example, Mita's drink was called Mita Sparkling H2O, which her concept is water, and she jokes about H2O. And sparkling as in it was carbonated, but also as in like a sparkling performing idol. Mine was called Melody's Rose Galaxy because it had a rose flavor in it. But Rose Galaxy is a reference to Radio Galaxy by Fruit Zipper, which is my favorite song. The drink itself was rose milk tea with caramel syrup and sliced egg pudding and tapioca pearls. And Mita said it was a 10 out of 10. And I agree, it was really good.
I see. I mean, it is very interesting to have a performance at a boba shop. I think, who was it? Chrysalia also performed at like, I guess like a coffee place, a coffee shop. So similar
A ton of
vibes.
the open. I performed open mics at coffee shops as well. But that was like an open mic, and this was hosting our own event and having like themed menu items, and like we had like a cup sleeve that you could get with it. It was just really fun.
As you did say, like it was only you guys performing at that event, right?
Yeah, so it was basically a one-man live as well as a collaboration event.
How was that like? How was promoting that, and how was like the attendance for that show?
It was really fun. All of us kind of have our own rules that we're in charge of, and mine is like performance and events director. So I was actually the one who reached out because it was their first time having a performance in there. We actually got a few complaints about how it was pretty crammed in there. It was hard to move, but come to our table to get merchandise, which I feel a little bad about now, because I wonder if we do it in the future, we can find a bit more of an accessible place, because we also got some people saying like, you guys look like it's a small shop for what it was. So they were saying like, oh, you guys look really like crammed in when you were trying to dance. Like we can't see your dance moves as well, or we had to compromise or even completely skip some formations because it was so crammed in there. So if we do it again in the future, we'll try and find a bigger shop which can still make such fun and creative drinks.
Yeah, I think also Chrysalia also had the same problem where like there was not enough space like in that area to perform, so they had to like compromise, and like while they're dancing they had to like cut some stuff out, or you know. So it's very, I mean, like cramped area kind of sucks, but like you got to do what you got to do in a performance like
Yeah.
that. So what did I ask that? Like what as MagiaNote, like what is usually in your set list?
So we try to put emphasis on original songs, but we also try to put emphasis on quality over quantity when it comes to our performances, which is why we tend to opt for shorter set lists so we can have a higher content of original songs and perform those original songs better instead of trying to cram in more covers. So we have Rhythm of My Heart and Love Adventure, which we have been rehearsing with the new lineup for upcoming performances this fall. And we are thinking of Shy Note is one song which we're planning on eventually learning a group version of. And Mita has a solo song in progress as well, which we will be doing a group version of with her as the center. And then we actually, I can't spoil too much, but we have some more original songs coming up behind the scenes, which we will definitely be performing this fall. For covers, I think our favorite cover to do is probably Kahan Sanran mix Wo Obuweru Uta, if you know that one. That's our favorite at the moment. Me and Mita performed Tiny Stars at our debut, which is very, very fitting, especially because I was wearing a pink dress and Mita was wearing a blue dress. And we performed Kawaii Dake Ja Dame Desu Ka by Cutie Street. And we learned Tapioca Milk Tea by Wasuta for our event at the Bubble Tea collab. And then we performed at the Bubble Tea Festival the next month, August. We also performed that.
I mean, good, I guess, performing, I guess, covers of Cutie Street, Wasta, promoting that type of idol music in an area that doesn't really, doesn't see much idol stuff is pretty good, I'd say. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because we definitely have been thinking about this. We want to carve out our own path. We want to come across as like an authentic idol group, but at the same time, rather than just emulating our favorite idols, we want to become our own best version of the idol group we can be. In the same way, rather than just trying to like follow in a group like Non-Sweet's footsteps, or trying to be like the next big thing in the Kaiga idol scene, we really just want to carve out our own path. And we want to make idol culture better known, but we really want to spread our message at the end of the day too.
Yeah. I mean, it is a good message, and you're fighting the good fight, promoting idol stuff in Vancouver. So, and also like carving your own niche. So like you're not really following the steps of Non-Sweet or like any other Kaiga idol group, just doing your own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might as well get into the Yeah, Pengi. I'm in Casa del Ando. That is why. Going
I can't see the chat in here.
Sorry. Yeah, Pengi.
It's okay. Who's in the chat right now?
Pengi_time. Who was in Idol Harmony.
I know Pengi. Pengi. I listen to Rise and Grind when I need to do like before a performance. I listen to that song before a performance. It makes me feel so motivated and locked in.
See, Pengi, people love your song. Yeah.
People love your song, Pengi.
Might as well go into the final section of this interview, future/retrospect. What would you say was your favorite performance that you've done as a soloist and within MagiaNote?
Okay. I'm gonna list a couple. So my debut felt fantastic. It was at Vancouver's first standalone idol festival, which was just called Idol Fest. It was such a great weekend. I really look back on that as the weekend that my dreams came true. And I performed Love Adventure for the first time, which is, now locally at least, the most popular song I have. Then was MagiaNote's debut. That was a beautiful but insanely chaotic day because we performed at one of the small Vancouver conventions, which I mentioned, and then we performed at the Richmond Night Market, which is the Metro Vancouver area's largest night market. And those two performances were in technically different cities and less than 2 hours apart.
Ooh.
So we had to perform 5:30 at the Harumatsuri, which was this anime convention. We did our set, and then we had to go to the train and get right to the night market. And it was so fun, but I felt so just alive, and it was chaotic in the best way. And that's why that was the first time I said I felt like this kind of connection between me and Mita as performers. And then I had a birthday live, which was Canada's first Seitansai event, which means a birthday live event. And that was amazing. That was fantastic. And it was fun performing with Mita and having guest acts, which at the time would become the next members. And I also remember during my final song, my microphone at the performance, the microphone cut off. Like, my microphone cut off at the end of my final song, and I had to just make up for it by singing as loud as I possibly could. So that was definitely an amazing experience. And having the Wota cheering us on and supporting us through the technical issues was making it even better. So I would look back on those two events as my favorite events to date, but I can think of a ton of other things which I enjoyed as well.
I mean, performing with guests that eventually became members of your group is definitely heartwarming to see. And as you said, like it sounds crazy, going from one event to another in like less than 2 hours.
That was so much fun. It was so scary. It was so scary, but it was so fun. I felt so alive. If I may for a second, because the song we performed was Tiny Stars at the night market. If you watched, I don't know if you've seen Love Live Superstar, but do you remember the scene where Kuka are about to perform and there's like the tech issues, and like they're just awkwardly standing there in front of the audience? It was the exact same at the night market because our song was not playing and we were just holding the position for Tiny Stars. And it was so fun. It was so fun, but so chaotic.
Would you also say that was your toughest performance with like all the tech issues, or no?
There were definitely tech issues, but there was another performance I look back on as my toughest performance, and it was my fault that it was tough because I picked a really bad set list. Not bad songs. I love the songs. Just I did not try to consider that because it was a solo event at the time. It was at an event called Pop Up Hanami, which is the same one where I had my interview. But Pop Up Hanami was I had a 5-minute set because it was a short one-day event and they had to accommodate as many performers as they could. So I picked some really fast-paced songs, including originals, with not a lot of space for breath, and I would say that's what made it my hardest performance. I had to keep singing, and I felt so out of breath. I could almost feel like my oxygen leaving my body because I could not breathe between lines.
5 minutes is not enough, I'd say, right? Like that's basically one song, but you, I guess, managed to have like a basically a medley, right? Within the
TV size songs.
TV size. So
yeah,
that's like maybe 4 or 5, right? In
3 songs. 3 songs I crammed in.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was fun though.
You know, having that crowd see some variety within those 5 minutes is great, right?
Yeah, I'm proud I did it. Though I was very out of breath, and for a moment I felt like I would faint on stage.
Oh no!
But I didn't, so we're good. I didn't, so we're good.
Segueing into that, is there anything you want to like improve on as over time as an idol?
I would say that so in MagiaNote, we have like a policy among each other to be a little bit brutally honest with each other and give each other constructive criticism to improve our performances. And when we feel like the constructive criticism is too much and we feel overwhelmed, we just comment a pineapple emoji. But one constructive criticism I've given myself is that I may be a classically trained singer and pianist, but I am not a classically trained dancer. I have not done much dance lessons or had much dance experience before idol activities. So I think my dance skills are behind my singing skills, and that's something I'd like to work on.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest with myself.
Gotcha. I mean,
I still love dancing.
Pengy says piano. Let's go. Pengy also plays the piano.
Oh, yay! I love playing Fiorellis. Sometimes I don't know what to do and I feel tired and I just play Fiorellis on my keyboard. Oh, there's one other thing I want to show you guys about me. I have a keyboard back there. Some people might have seen it in like my TikTok live streams. I bought the keyboard with the first money I earned, and I've used it to write every single song that I've ever released, and all the songs I'm planning on releasing were written with that keyboard. So it's very near and dear to my heart, and someday I want to play it live too.
I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean, like, when have you ever seen an idol? I mean, like, idol play a piano on stage. So be the first one.
It'd be fun.
As you said earlier with MagiaNote, like, you want to perform in Japan and you want to like spread the message of your group. Is there any other goals that you wanted, or no?
I'd really love to perform at like US Idol Fest. It's one of my unrealistic dreams. And we have one ultimate dream, which is to perform at BC Place, which is certainly Vancouver's biggest venue and one of Canada's biggest place venues is BC Place. It's basically like, you know how a lot of Japanese idols want to perform at the Budokan or the Tokyo Dome. Yeah. That's our equivalent. Our rehearsal studio is at the top of a high rise. So we have this really nice panoramic view of the entire Vancouver area. And from there you can see BC Place. And we have this meme in the group chat of me like pointing at BC Place from the studio.
As even though like you've debuted, you know, last year, you've been in this scene. I'd say like a year has been a good enough time to like have some tenure. Do you have, since IDOLEYEZ is watched by a lot of people, pre-debut idols that have already debuted, idols that, you know, debuted years ago. Do you have like any general advice that you want to give them?
I would say be honest with yourself. Don't, and I mean that in every single context it could be applied. Don't try to be another idol that you admire, whether that's a Kaigai or a Japanese idol. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with what you want to do, what trajectory you want to take your career in. And for me, an example of being honest with myself was, as I mentioned, I do well in academics, but my passion is in music. I now have registered for the same music school that Mita does. I canceled out this need to succumb to the pressure I felt of going into academics, into something I wasn't going to enjoy. And I went straight ahead into my dream, and now I'm doing music education and studies and work full time. And I really do think I'm living my dreams now. And it's all from being honest with myself.
I mean, yeah, being honest, you know, just, you are always going to be the harshest critic of yourself, but you have to face the facts sometimes and be honest as well.
Except when the other two are the harshest critics of me. If you're watching this, Don't get on me in the comments. You know who you are. The other members.
Boy, oh boy. Speaking of like not like emulating.
That was a joke, by the way.
Speaking of like not emulating your inspirations or your role models, do you at least
Mhm.
have like anyone in the Kaika idol scene that you look up to?
I definitely look up to Non-Sweet a lot. Although my favorite idol group is a Japanese idol group. If you've been following me, you probably know who they are. But I definitely look up to Non-Sweet a lot. They have been really big role models for us, especially in when we've learned from them is to really spread idol culture into the mainstream of Vancouver by performing not just at conventions and idol events, but in the mainstream music industry as well, and in public city funded events. That's been one way that they inspired us, which has been working out amazing for us.
Yeah, I'd say public events are definitely a good way to spread, like, I guess, promotion for your group, because like those are
Mhm.
where a lot of people are, and if they see you, they might as well, they might follow you, they might become a fan. So
It
definitely.
looks fantastic for your resume as well.
Right. Sorry. Yeah. So with that, um as you did start like a year ago, but like how long do you want to keep becoming an idol?
I've declared myself as an idol for life. Okay, maybe not an idol for life, but music will always be at the core identity of who I am. And I don't know how long I'll want to pursue idol activities for, or how long MagiaNote will last for. I love them both extremely dearly, so I hope it will last forever. But if it doesn't, then I will always have music forever. That's why I thought of the catchphrase music for life. For us, we have a cheer before we go on stage. It's like music for life. Because whatever lasts forever, I know that I want my passion to last forever. And I know that the other members feel the same way in all of our own ways. That's also why my birthday live, which was one of our first like woman live, was also titled Music for Life. So yeah.
Gotcha. Uh, Even though it's only been a year, like how much has that scene in BC evolved or like changed from
Oh,
when you
it's
debuted
evolved a
to
ton in
now?
1 year.
Yeah.
We have new groups. We have new cosplay groups, but we also have new like idol cover groups, which are even if they don't have original music, they definitely are definitely very much more emulating like Japanese idols more than some cosplay groups may. And we also have new groups other than just us who are other like original idols with their own music, which they wrote. One of which is one of my best friends. If you're watching this, hi, you know who you are. Um, we also have started having a lot of standalone idol festivals and taibons happening in Vancouver. So I would say that in 1 year, the scene in Vancouver has been changing. Another great thing is that we are slowly becoming more connected with foreign scenes. There are groups I know that have come to Seattle and Alberta for performances, and vice versa, them coming to us. So I think we're all getting to know each other better and getting closer with each other.
Yeah. It's good to have like that, I guess, that mutual bond where like
Yeah.
Canadian groups go to Seattle and then, Seattle, like American groups go to Vancouver as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. What would the current if you went back in time and talked to the day the melody that was about to debut on stage, what would you tell them?
I would say again, about to go on stage. At the time I was about to go on stage for the first time and for the debut, like pre-debut or official debut, I felt so happy and excited that I don't think there's really much I could say that would help them because she was already at the best stage she could be at the time. But to me, overall, I would again say be honest with yourself. Know the importance of honesty and pursue your dreams in ways that don't even feel possible right now, which is, as I was saying, now me and Mita go to the same music school starting this September, which I'm extremely excited for, and I'll keep you guys posted about.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like we scheduled this interview before you started school, so perfect timing for that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because I would be really busy. But even still, I make time for something like this because it's been super fun.
You did briefly talk about it, but like, do you have any upcoming performances within the next 2 months or next month that you want to promote?
We don't have any confirmed performances, although we are looking into things. I have to keep it secret. But we have been working on some original music. And there is Rhythm of My Heart, which we posted a teaser for a while ago. There is Rhythm of My Heart we recently did. As I mentioned, we had some fun project going on yesterday, and we have some more original songs in progress at the moment, as well as group releases and covers of solo songs such as Love Adventure, Shine Note, and Mita's upcoming song. So while things may be unconfirmed, we can say the future is very bright.
Well, I do look forward to those songs when they appear on
Me too.
Spotify or streaming service, or if you upload performances on YouTube. I can't wait for that.
Yeah. We're been working on that as well.
Yeah. Wow. This concludes this interview, but every single at the end of every single Idolize episode, we have a segment called "The Worst Pep Talk Ever," where I
Oh my god, this one. Yes, this one.
give the guests a pep talk that is good or bad for 1 minute. So might as well do this. I don't know why we keep doing this, but people love it. But whatever.
I love it too.
Oh, it's blurred. Oh no, but it's a minute. Melody, I love when idols produce their own music or produce original music. I prefer that compared to covers. So keep doing what you got to do with that as a soloist or in MagiaNote. I have high hopes for MagiaNote and all the I guess the new stuff that will come out. The performances, the new songs. As someone living in America, I can't be there, but I wish I was.
We'll
there.
try. We'll try to come to you. We want to.
But yeah, your drive, and you have the drive and the potential to keep at this for a long time, and doing a deep dive in your discography, starting from Magic Introduction into Shine Note. You definitely improved, and I do want to see how you will improve again over time. So, yeah, keep doing what you got to do, and that's been a minute. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love a bad pep talk.
It's always
I love the worst pep talk ever.
Yeah, no.
It's good.
But if you haven't followed Melody or MagiaNote, I will copy paste the links to their Instagrams.
Oh my god.
Oh, and by the way, Pengi says, quote unquote, quote, Melody, you are so pretty. Thank you. I will support you. Unquote.
Oh, you're so pretty. I think you're so pretty too.
You heard it right there, Pengi. But yeah, if you haven't followed Melody or MagiaNote, follow them on Instagram. I think they also have links to their other social media in their bio. But yeah. Thank you, Melody, for taking the time to be on Idolize, and thank you for accepting this invitation. What was it? I talked about was it on my For You page? I think there was a stream that you were doing.
I do a lot of TikTok live.
I was like, oh my god, that's Melody. I want you on Idolize someday. And then months later, we're here. So, yeah. Yeah. Thanks you again for taking the time to be on this show. And I can't wait for all the stuff that you are going to do in the future. Yeah. If you missed any part of this live stream, this will be uploaded tomorrow on the IDOLEYZ YouTube channel. Maybe around 3 p.m. EST, 12 p.m.
Watch it.
PST. Yeah.
Watch it.
What else? Oh, we have a little bit of a schedule change for our future episodes, and I will announce that tomorrow. Yeah. But we will be starting to focus on performers that are in or are scheduled to perform at US Idol Fest. So look forward to that. Yeah. So that will be it for this show. Thank you again, Melody. USFIF Art. Yeah. Take care, brush hair, be kind, rewind. We'll be going to the ending screen right now. Bye.
Bye.